Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rise of Industry. As always, I am Dorn. Today, we're going to go ahead and hopefully start the process of making the final little bits that are going to make us a ton of money here. So I went ahead and researched as much of the pre-made dinner thing as I could. I think I have the entire thing done. It was pretty expensive to go ahead and research because we needed a lot more tech and different trees here. But for the most part, we have everything done. All we need to do now is set the factories in motion to go ahead and start producing these items. And then we need to go ahead and build one of these guys right here, the Meal Mega Factory, for $50 million is what we need to go ahead and build before we can actually start making the pre-made dinners. So what we need to go ahead and do is place down some more farms for the vegetables and the chickens, I believe. We also need sugarcane and is it rubber? I don't think it's rubber. It's definitely not rubber. I don't know why I was thinking rubber, but we need olives. We need the vegetable stuff. We need wheat again. I think we're going to maybe place another wheat field so that we don't eat into the supply that we have for our cows at the moment. And I think we're also going to need that for the chickens as well. So yeah, we need to place a whole lot more farms right now. And in between episodes, I kind of rearranged some stuff here. I upgraded all of the speed stuff, so the trains are going at max capacity. I have the Zeppelins completely researched into as well. So we have the increased storage and the speed. And what I also went ahead and changed is the warehouse delivery thing. So I disabled the automatic outgoing one that it does by itself because for whatever reason, we can't change the amount of trucks and stuff that the warehouse automatically uses. So it just kind of does it whenever. I think it's just to meet the demand of the business it's going to. So the main thing that we have backlogging in this warehouse is apples. And we have 99 apples in this warehouse constantly. So I went ahead and set up a manual delivery thing right here on the other screen, the destination screen, and I have that sending 100 items to the farmer's market. So now when we click on the farmer's market, this bar right here is almost always at capacity here. So we're making a bunch of money from the apples. I tried to do that with the oranges, but for whatever reason, we don't have oranges backlogging in the warehouse like we do with the apples. For whatever reason, we have 2 orchards for apples and 2 for the oranges, and for whatever reason it just doesn't output the same as the apples. I don't know if the growth time is shorter for the apples compared to the oranges. Oh, wait a second. Do I have 3 fields for apples? Oh, no, I don't. Okay, yeah, this is the orange field here, and then the apple field starts there. Yeah, no, never mind. We have 2 and 2. I didn't mess that up. I could have sworn I just messed that up real bad. So currently, the only thing we're sending back to Oren is going to be apples. That's the only thing that we can actually fill the bar up on at the moment because we don't have a whole lot of the other stuff coming through. But eventually here, we have to go ahead and stop sending the apples altogether, really, because we have other things we can waste those on or use them on to go ahead and make more money. So we can go ahead and unlock the hard cider thing. That's going to make some use of the apples here. And I think that's pretty much the only thing. We don't have an orange drink that we can make. We have the orange juice that we need to go ahead and produce to make the orange soda for the meal. But before I get too sidetracked here, let's actually start some of these lines to actually start kind of producing the things that we need for those meals. So let me go ahead and take a look at the tech tree really quick. We are probably going to have to remove all of this factory and kind of put it somewhere else, or just put it past the train tracks here and then have it come back to the warehouse, because this is like all farm land that we can go ahead and use. It's pretty straight. There's nothing in this area that's going to cause us to not be able to place down things. So like over here we had the copper, and then over here we don't have anything until we hit the gas fields again, in which we kind of don't even hit them to begin with all that much. So before we actually start placing down farms and stuff, I'm going to swap out the trains to these Zeppelins here and see if there's any benefit to them. I think they might be quicker. I'm not too sure, but at least with them, we're not going to have the train tracks cutting through land here, and we'll probably end up placing more farms in this area as well here in a second. So let me go ahead and just pause it for a second, and we can go ahead and build one of these Zeppelin things for 450,000. So let's delete the train depot. We get a little bit of money back. That's cool. I don't think we need the road here at the moment. And we can go ahead and place the Zeppelin field right over here. I don't think there's really a negative to having it facing that way. I don't think there's really a point to have it any other way here. And with the Zeppelin thing placed on this one as well, now we can go ahead and change all of our delivery points to allow us to send things with the Zeppelin instead. Oh, you know what? I guess I should have checked to see if the train actually carried more things because this only has a vehicle capacity of 8. I don't know how much the train actually carried. Uh-oh. Well, anyways, we'll see if that's going to be any better or worse. I'm not too worried about it, to be honest here. So let's go ahead and change these guys all over to the Zeppelin as well. And another thing I want to see if it's even going to work. I don't know how we sell to the state. I think we just have to drive off the map to deliver to the state here. But let me go ahead and place a warehouse over here. And I don't really need it to interact with the town. I don't really care if it does or it doesn't. We just need this to allow us to deliver it the stuff that we're not selling to a town right now. So we can go ahead and drop the radius down to like 10. I don't mind. And we can go ahead and plop a Zeppelin thing onto this as well. So something like, we'll go ahead and place it right here. Why not? So that should be fine. And then I placed that the wrong way actually. Oops. I wanted it to go to the right and not straight toward the warehouse like that. That's why it wasn't letting me place it close like that. There we go. And then we can go ahead and plug that into the main road here just in case we need to. And let's see if we can go ahead and change this thing to deliver to this warehouse. I think I might have to actually send it to this warehouse and then have it go to the state from here. That might be what we need to do because it's still grayed out, so I can't quite send it to it. So let me change this thing over to the warehouse. And then we can do that with the beef as well. I think that's the only other thing right now we're selling to the state. Everything else is getting sold to the town. And then from this warehouse, all we got to do is set it for the beef and the milk, and we can go ahead and sell that to the state, and it might go a little bit quicker. Yeah, we still have to travel 40 tiles. So I guess it's only counting the main road in the town as out of bounds. And I guess that's what's going on here, but that's not really that big of an issue. Let's go ahead and just set these ones up to go ahead and sell that to the state as well. And it kind of cuts down on travel time, hopefully. So we'll go ahead and see if that's going to benefit us any and kind of take the traffic out of the farm area here, hopefully. So what I think we're going to go ahead and do is actually move all of our manufacturing stuff that we placed down last episode, and we're going to go ahead and cram it into this little section of the map here because we don't have anything growing up there. We're going to have to terraform over the little lake thing right there and then the little one right here as well, just so we can go ahead and cram as many buildings into this area as we can because I want to go ahead and up production on the fabric and stuff so that we can go ahead and meet some of the demands for the industry in our town. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is fill in this area with as many of the farms and stuff that we need for these meals, because right now the main thing that I can see that's going to be a little bit of an issue probably is going to be the orange juice that we need. We need an orange soda, which needs a glass bottle, which we can't make the glass bottle because we don't have coal in this region. We have to go ahead and start buying that stuff. So in order for us to go ahead and do that and not run into any finance issues, we're going to have to up our production on stuff to go ahead and offset the cost of however much this is going to be for us to have to buy to be able to go ahead and start making bottles so we can go ahead and start producing that stuff. So let me go ahead and move the entire factory stuff. We're also going to move these guys as well. We can't move the mine because we have to have it here. And the same thing with the air purifier. We have to leave that there as well. But we're going to scoot these guys away from this area. We're probably going to double up on them as well. I think they sell for a decent amount. They're making the cables. Yeah, they make the cables at 26,000. So we can go ahead and maybe do 4 of those buildings, maybe 6 of those buildings. We can also make these guys as well. Those sell for a decent amount as well. We're probably going to have 8 buildings in total making that stuff. If our single copper mine can keep up with it, we're going to try 4 of each, and then we'll go ahead and expand that as we kind of see if we can keep up with it or not. But let me go ahead and start scooting things over here. We can also go ahead and take out a $50 million loan this time instead of a $30 million loan like we did last episode. So hopefully with the amount of money that we have saved up right now, plus that $50 million, we can go ahead and move everything over here, increase our production rates, and start producing the stuff for the meals here. Okay, so a bit of a jump there. We have pretty much everything down that we need. So I have 12 factories making the fiber little square looking things. I have another 12 factories making the dye, and then I have 12 factories making the light fabric, which is a little little orange one. And then we have 6 of them making napkins, 6 more of them making these summer clothes, which are the t-shirts. And then we have another 6 making the heavy fabric, which is the blue little square. And then those are basically going right into the work clothes right across the street with another 6 of those factories. So we have a bunch of this stuff being made now. This is all our actual money. We don't have a loan anymore. I had to take out the 50 million to build this thing out. And then I didn't really know if I had enough money anymore to go ahead and do the farms and stuff. So I went ahead and progressed the game until we paid off that loan again. And this has been working out kind of better than I anticipated. So we kind of have a ton of money coming in now. We have, what is it? I think 6 million, it says right here. So we have 6 million income and we have 4.7 of an upkeep cost. So we're making pretty decent money right now. I tried to go ahead and use those Zeppelin things, and the Zeppelins are just not it. They're so slow. They only carry 8 items. The trains carry 12 items. And so I got rid of the Zeppelins and just threw a train track in. And for whatever reason right now, it kind of seems to be doing whatever it wants with the trains here. They go down whatever track they want, even though it's not connected like that. So this track right here should be the clockwise track, and then the inner track is the counterclockwise one. And for whatever reason, they kind of pick and choose. Like, there'll be some trains that come this way on it and they shouldn't be on this track, but there doesn't seem to be any negatives to it other than them slowing down. And I don't know how we go about fixing that, because I have little junctions at the depots and it's all set up the way it should be. They just, for whatever reason, can make little turns like that. Like, they come here and then they make almost like a 90-degree turn when they, I don't think, should be able to be doing that, but I guess they can do it on this game. But it's not, again, it's not really an issue, but we only have a few things on the trains now. I went ahead and changed everything back to deliver manually from the buildings and the warehouses and stuff. The only things that go to the warehouses are the end products that we then take to the town and sell to the stores. That's the only thing that goes on these trains. I don't have any of the raw resources that go to any of the factories or anything like that. The only thing that is still like that is the water. I don't really want to have a bunch of different water producers to deliver water to the factories all on their own here. So we still have water going to a warehouse, and then that separates back out into the warehouses or the factories as it needs. And I also went ahead and changed this thing over here. We have water wells down, and these are a little bit more pricey than the water siphons, but they produce, I think, a little bit more water than the water siphons, and I can place these wherever I want. So I went ahead and just covered the road with them, or I placed them right here to cover the pollution that was happening, but we had to go ahead and place down a few more of the purifiers anyways. And what I went ahead and did is just increase their production to 200%, and it covers a ton of area. And so now we really don't have any pollution problems going on here. If I turn off the air purifier over here, this entire area will turn bright red again, kind of like this area over here for the NPCs. But now that we have those things at 200% and we can supply them with enough water to keep running constantly, we don't have any pollution issues. We don't have any farms getting turned off for pollution problems and stuff like that. But anyways, we have a bunch of these farms down too now, but they're all disabled right now. They're not running because we don't have the factories down. So we have the olive orchards over here. We have some of the vegetable fields. We have some potatoes and we have some sugar cane. And then over here we have chickens. We might need to place a secondary chicken farm at some point once we get this thing up and running. I also have some of these farms set to higher production rates just to go ahead and not have to place down more of them. So the cotton fields are at 200%. I think the berries are at 150. No, they're at 125, never mind. And then the cow fields are also different. This one only supplies the summer clothing, I think. And so it has a higher production rate, or it has the work clothes in it. And the work clothes require 2 leather per cycle here. So I went ahead and bumped that up to 200%. It seems to be able to keep up with the demand of those buildings over there. And then this one only supplies the heavy fabric with the leather, and that only needs 1 leather per cycle. So I have this one at 125%, and it seems to be able to keep up with the demand of it as well. So every now and again, these buildings will just pop up that the storage is full, but for the most part, it's fine. I'd rather have those buildings full than not producing. But anyways, we have enough money to go ahead and place this building down now. And I don't know where exactly I want to go ahead and place this at, because to be honest, we're probably going to get rid of the lumber yard because there's no point in us having it. I don't think there's anything that we can use this for to actually make money. We didn't go down that tech tree, and our town actually doesn't sell really anything that produces lumber or uses lumber all that much. So we're just going to go ahead and get rid of all of it. and we can go ahead and clear up that space now to go ahead and increase our farms or some more warehouses here. So I'm going to go ahead and connect this road into the main one here, and now we can go ahead and place that main factory somewhere because we are going to have to go ahead and supply this with a ton of stuff to go ahead and make these meals. I might go ahead and end up placing 2 of these eventually just in case we have a ton of excess food being produced. But what I think I'm going to go ahead and do is place it somewhere over here because I want to go ahead and have the food places close to the farm so that we don't have to drive super far, because if you can see all the traffic building up right now, that's because we have the NPCs driving on our roads, and we also have all of these farms and stuff sending their stuff physically to the warehouses, so it's causing a big backlog here. I don't know how we fixed that really because there's no like better roads or whatever. We already have the fastest roads we have. So we're just going to go ahead and place the stuff over here. I think I might have to remove the air purifier and move it somewhere else. I'm not quite sure because we have oil over here. And so we might want to use this space for farms or something. But we're going to go ahead and scoot this road a little bit past that. And then we can go ahead and run a road down like this. And then if we need more factories, we can try and scoot them in here around the oil fields, or we can just go ahead and cram other things in here if we need to. But I'm going to try and use this little space here for all of our food stuff, and hopefully we can squeeze 1 or 2 of these things in this area. I guess maybe 1 thing, because we have to have 9 separate food factories, I believe it is, for all of the food items that we're about to be producing here. So let me go ahead and just double check really quick. I know we need the vegetable stuff getting cooked. We need the orchard getting turned into oil and all that stuff as well. But I think we only need 9 of these factories. So we're going to double up on all of them to start with because I'm pretty sure we'll have enough food coming out of the line here. Okay, so I went ahead and placed down a factory just to see all the recipes that are available in them. And we're going to actually need 18 separate factories for each recipe here. So if we go ahead and double up on that, we're going to need 36 factories. And I think we should be able to go ahead and squeeze that in. We're not going to be able to squeeze it in here. Definitely not going to be able to squeeze it in here because that's definitely not going to be enough room for 36 of these factories. So what we're going to go ahead and do is pull a road over here and pull it on down to about there. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is cram them in here to kind of cut out the space that we can use for a farm. So the farm should go a little bit low here. So if we open this thing, we can go ahead and start a secondary road right over here. So the back of the factories are going to be hitting this line here. Let's place the smaller ones on this line, and then we can kind of scoot our way down and around here with the bigger factories. So these 3 right here are all 4x4 little buildings. So those aren't too bad to have here. So all we need to do is space this thing out a little bit. So that's 4 and 5. So let's plop a road there, and then we can go ahead and just drag a road and drop it, and that can go ahead and be where we start placing down buildings. And then we're just going to double up on the road and do it like that. So let's clear that. We can close the air purifier because now we know where it ends, and let's go ahead and start placing things down. So let's get rid of this one for right now, and let's see, we have food factory. And I kind of want to make this in a way that kind of makes sense so we don't have to use a warehouse, kind of like we just did, or kind of like I did with all of this stuff. So it kind of makes sense that we have the fibers and then the dye, and then they move back into the little complex here to make the other items here. If it was a little bit bigger, we would have had this one behind this one, but we kind of ran out of space there. So what we need is probably going to be the flour up front. That's going to get the main use out of this whole thing. So let me go ahead and plop that one down over here. Where's the food factory? There it is. So let's plop that one here, and then we can go ahead and set it to flour. Let me clear this factory a little bit here. So we're going to name it flour. And we're going to keep track of this stuff. So it's going to be number 1. And we're only going to do 2 of them right now. And if we can go ahead and afford to triple up or quadruple up here, we'll go ahead and increase that. And then we're going to need another food factory. Let me just clear that so it doesn't keep doubling up on it and we don't have to change the name over and over again here. And if we get lucky, we can kind of just have them driving down the road and then going into the factory like that. That would be kind of good. But we need this one making the dough because that's the flour recipe. We need water going into it, so that's good. Let me go ahead and name the factory here Dough 1, and let's go ahead and double up on that one as well. So now we have 2 of those guys. I'm going to go ahead and rinse and repeat this process with all of these food factories here, or at least this stage of the food factory here, and take a look at the recipes as well while I'm doing it to make sure that we can kind of have it going in a line and kind of not wasting too much time being produced here. So for the most part, this is the entire line. I wasted a lot of money because I had to terraform some of the ground here. We had some hills in this area, and I went ahead and cut out the big hill that was over here as well. The only thing currently that we don't have down is the factory to produce the plastic cutlery, and then we're also going to need another lumber mill over in this area just so we can go ahead and cut down on the travel time. I should have probably left it up here, but I already cleared out some of the lumber yard, and so it's going to kind of take a while for me to grow those trees back. So we need to go ahead and unpause it and let our money kind of generate again. We also need a bridge to be researched, and I hope I can go ahead and place it here. If not, we're just kind of wasting money on researching it, but we're going to give it a go. And let's see if everything works. I have all this stuff paused so we're not eating into the profits too much here. And hopefully we don't run into any issues with that. But we're also going to need to maybe double up on the stuff over here. I don't think our oil thing's going to have an issue keeping up with it. We can also just increase the speed of it as well. We haven't done that because there's no need for it yet. But we're going to go ahead and scoot the plastic and the buttons over here probably as well, just to kind of get it close to this stuff. The buttons don't really need to be scooted because we don't have those going into this factory, but when we move the oil, we're probably going to have to scoot that a little bit as well. So now we should have the bridges and stuff done. And all these do is decrease the cost of them and increase the speed when traveling on them. Okay, so can we go ahead and place a bridge over the top of this or not? We can indeed. Sweet. Okay, so that's great for us. We can go ahead and research the speed thing as well, just so we don't have them slowing down on it. I'm not too worried about the cost of it. I just built the bridge anyways. I don't plan on building any more bridges, so there's really no point in investing into any further, like, cheaper cost of it. I do, however, want to go ahead and try and figure out why the trains are doing this and if I can fix that, because every so often they do slow down, and over time I feel like that's going to kind of stack up to be eating into our profits more than I kind of see at the moment. So once this thing is done, we can go ahead and start placing down the stuff here. We don't even have to wait for it to finish, actually. We can just go ahead and start placing the stuff. But we're going to go ahead and place this a little bit back into the road like so. Actually, let me scoot it over a little bit so that we can go ahead and place down water stuff if we need to go ahead and harvest up the water to feed these things. And we need these things connected into the main building, so let me go ahead and try and line these up and connect them in. I think that's right. And the other one can go over here. Let's go about there-ish. Is that lined up with that as well? So that should be good. And then the third one can go ahead and just hang out over here as well, like we had the last one, so we don't have any roads running behind the building. And I think that's also in line with the rest of that. Oh, we have 5 of these we can place down. I forgot about that. Ooh, yeah. Let me see. Let me place this one over here. Is that in line? I think it is for the most part, something like that. I don't know if these have to like actually cut down the trees, because it didn't seem like they were cutting down the trees in the last little area that we had the lumber mill at. So I think we're fine doing it like this. So that can hang out there. We have 5 of these things down. Let me go ahead and connect all the roads in together, and that works out pretty well. I don't think this should be going anywhere. It is not, so that's good as well. We can go ahead and pause the building for right now because we don't need it going anywhere. We need to turn all these buildings back on and set all the lines up as well. But before we go ahead and set the lines back in motion, let me go ahead and scoot the oil production over here. So we need 2 of these things producing the oil. Or what is the plastic, not the oil. And then we're going to have 2 of those going into the plastic thing as well. So let's plop that there. And I think this is keeping the same destination thing that the other one was set to. Yeah, it is. Okay, so let me clear those because we don't want them going to the buttons at the moment. We're probably going to rearrange that as well at some point here. So those guys are going to be making the plastic that we need for the cutlery here. So let's go ahead and place down another one of these guys. And we can set that on over to the plastic cutlery, which we only need the plastic bottles to go into. So that should be good. And then we can go ahead and just duplicate that building. And with all of that down, we should be able to go ahead and start making the pre-made dinners now. But all we need now is just the 50 million to place one of the buildings to go ahead and actually make the meals. So what I'm going to go ahead and do real quick is set up all of the lines that we need, because none of this stuff is actually connected yet. All of the buildings are down, but they're not communicating with each other to deliver the items that they need. So let me really quickly go through and set all of the lines in motion. And then what we're probably going to go ahead and do is actually take out a loan from the state again, or the headquarter thing here, take a loan out again and place one of the buildings down. And if we have this stuff running the way it should be running, we should hopefully be able to pay that loan off almost instantly, because this should hopefully produce multiples of those meals a day or a week or whatever. We're probably even going to crank the production rate on that building to as fast as it can go, because I feel like we're going to build quite a backlog with this little setup here. But let me go ahead and set all that in motion really quick, and we should be good to go to start producing those meals. So now we should have everything up and going. All the crop farms are going to the buildings, all the buildings are going to the other buildings that they need to go to, and now all we need to do is take out a loan from this guy. And I think we're going to go ahead and do the full $50 million loan just to kind of buy us some time here to get everything up and running and hopefully be able to pay this off. I hope I don't come to regret that, but let's go ahead and take out the 50 and let's see where this is going to go ahead and fit in at. So if we could, it'd be kind of cool to have it right here, but we can't because of the train tracks. So I don't want to place it over here either, because that's going to be potentially different farms. If we go ahead and expand this whole thing again, we can go ahead and double up or triple up on farms. So what I think I'm going to go ahead and do is actually delete some of the road right here and just place it right in this area. So let's actually drag a road over to this, and then we can clear the road from here and squeeze in the big factory somewhere right over here. And we will go ahead and manually deliver this to the store itself and kind of just bypass the warehouse altogether here. And for that, I think we need a bridge to kind of cut down on travel time as well. So we'll go ahead and just do a little bridge over the train tracks. We can't place it there. Never mind. Let me scoot it back a little bit. There we go. So that should work. And we can go ahead and connect into the road like so. And that should be good. Okay. And then all I need to do is connect these buildings to the warehouse or the factory here. And that'll go ahead and produce the meals that we need. So we only need 4 of these factories connected to it, because that's the main end of line stuff to be produced in it. So let me go ahead and set these factories in motion here, and then we can go ahead and unpause and see if we're going to go ahead and be able to turn any sort of a profit here. And now that that's done, let's actually check our pollution thing and see if we are going to have a blind spot, which we are right here in the middle of our new little factory. So before that even becomes an issue, let's go ahead and kind of get it before it even starts and place a purifier there. We can increase that to 200, and then we can go ahead and have water from this thing going to it. So let's have that going there. We can go ahead and change the number to only 5 so we don't have a bunch of shortages kicking off with our water, and turn that off, and we should hopefully be able to go ahead and start this up and not have any issues here. But let's go ahead and jump right into it and throw it into 4x mode and see if everything is going to be working the way it should be. We have a $15 million kind of safe haven here to kind of see if this is going to work or not. One of the things we might need to go ahead and do is increase the work time on some of these buildings, because some of them take a little while to do. So this is going to take us 30 days to produce 2 of the orange juices. And I think the chicken dinner thing is also going to take a little while to produce as well. It's 180 days to produce the chicken meals. So that's a long time for that to do it. We can increase it 200% and cut that time down to 90 days, but it's going to cost us $27,000 to keep that building running. So let's go ahead and give that a go, because we need this stuff coming out of the line as quick as we can. And I'll go ahead and rearrange some of the other factories if we need to also do those ones as well. But that's going to go ahead and start turning those things out. This thing takes 45 days. The orange juice takes 30 days. And then the soda water was 30 days. Okay, so it's going to take 30 days for both of those to get produced, and then 45 days for the orange soda to be produced. So we might want to go ahead and increase that just a little bit. We can go ahead and change that to 30 days as well for a 150% increase. So let's give that a go and see if that'll work a little bit in our favor. Let's do, what did I do? 150? 150 on that. So 30 days to produce all of the juices to produce the chicken dinners in 90 days. And then the berry stuff, I don't think it really matters on that one because it's relatively quick. It takes 30 days for the dough, and then it takes, let's see, it takes 45 days for the pie, which isn't that bad of a deal there. And right now we already have 2 pies in here, so I'm not going to change the speed of those buildings. We can probably even slow those ones down to save a little bit of money. But let's see the cardboard boxes as well. How long do these take to produce? They take 180 days as well, so that's going to be a 200% boost on those ones, just to go ahead and get those things being spit out a little bit quicker. And then let's see, the thin cardboard is going to take 45 days. The other cardboard is going to take, I keep going past it, we need 30 days. And then the heavy pulp, which is needed, is only taking 15 days. So I think for these, I'm going to leave them all alone and see if that works out. We have a pollution problem kicking off, so we don't have enough water somewhere. Let me go ahead and quickly plop down a water well over here and see if only one of them is going to be enough to increase the water demand that we have right now. So let me increase the price on that and see if that fixes things. We don't have any flour because we don't have any wheat getting grown because we just ran out of water over here. So that'll go ahead and sort itself out in a second. And then the main building over here is going to take a year. It's going to take a full year for this thing to be made. Whoa, okay. I feel like I should have looked at all these recipes before I did what I did here to make this thing happen. Let's go ahead and pause the building because it's $1 million upkeep a year here, or a month. But with that paused, it should still have stuff delivered to it, I think. We just need the chicken dinners. Are the chicken dinners even done yet? No. They are being made, though, in 90 days. We just got hit with a bankruptcy thing, so we have to take out a $5 million loan. Ooh, we might not have been ready to do this yet. We might have just boned the whole game here by going into this with how expensive this whole thing is. When this building does get its chicken, though, the chicken dinners, we're going to unpause it, and we're going to go ahead and crank it to... Man, we can't even afford to crank it to 2.5 million. We might honestly need to slow it way down to, oh, that's going to take 1,400 days. No, we can't do that. We need to pay off this loan. I might honestly need to freeze the entire industry again. I need to freeze all these buildings and then all of these buildings and just pay off that 50 million with this thing over here again, because we might be really risking going bankrupt right now. We have both of the chicken dinners in there now. Let's go ahead and unpause the building. It's going to take a year to produce the chicken dinner, or the pre-made dinner, but I don't know if we're going to be able to afford the upkeep on this building. We're going to leave it at 100% as well. Here's our secondary bankruptcy alert. I think if we hit bankruptcy again, we fail the game. So what I'm going to go ahead and do really quick, I'm going to take that. I'm going to also pause the game for a second, and I'm going to go back through and freeze the entire industry that produces the meals here, just so we don't have those things eating into the overall cost of the whole thing here. And hopefully by doing that, we're going to cut down on our upkeep enough that this industry over here is going to be able to retake the finances and get us kind of squared away again. Because that loan plus the 2 loans that we have now, plus the upkeep of all of these buildings, is really eating into our profits. And the game says we're making 18 million and only using 13 million of it, but I don't think that's the case because we just got double bankruptcy loans. So let me go ahead and pause everything and just see if maybe we can try and salvage before we go bankrupt completely. Okay, so with all of that pause, we should hopefully be able to stay in the green long enough to get this thing to finish its production here, because we just need one of these to come out of the factory, and then we should be able to go ahead and pay off both of the bankruptcy loans and kind of clear our stuff here just a split second longer to then run the factory again and produce a secondary one that hopefully pays off the main loan that we just took out. So that's the hope here. We are dropping a lot of money. This is a 1.25 million upkeep. We might honestly need to slow it down even more, which I think we're going to go ahead and I'm going to bump it to 50%, and that way we can go ahead and for sure stay in the green. It's going to take a little longer for this to be produced, 720 days versus the 360, I think it was. But that's going to allow us to hopefully pay off one or both of these loans. That way we can go ahead and bump the time back up on it, and then get the bankruptcy loans again, and then switch it back to 50, and then keep doing it back and forth until it's finally produced, and then we can hopefully make a good dent on this thing. Well, maybe not. That's going to still be in 40 million range, and we're not going to be able to pay that. But we might want to bump it down even more, because it's not really letting us stay at $1 million. Let me do that. Let me bump it down even further to 25% and see if maybe then we can go ahead and pay off some of these guys, because I'm pretty sure if we get hit with another loan right now, we're going to fail the game, and I'd rather not have that happen right now. Well, here we go. We're about to have our first pre-made dinner come out of the factory here in just a minute. All I've been doing is paying off one loan and then taking out another one immediately. That's the only way I'm able to survive this right now. If I was to go ahead and let this just run, we're just going to go ahead and bankrupt, and I don't want to do that. So in a second here, this is going to go ahead and sell, and we should, off of the sale of that, be able to clear our debt here. So I'm going to go ahead and let it run still. I'm going to keep button mashing on the $5 million loan, and then eventually our money will go up to $5 million. We can pay that off, and then we're going to immediately have to take out another loan off of the repayment of this one. But it's really not that big of an issue. It's not changing the interest rates. It's not changing the monthly payment rates or anything like that. It's just making us take a loan out immediately, because I think we're in the red when we pay that off. Yeah, we're a little bit in the red when we pay it off. So if this thing would kindly leave the warehouse and deliver to the store so we can clear our debt, that would be huge. I don't know how we're going to run this thing, because I really don't want to sit here for 20, 30 minutes just clicking on loans over and over again, trying to keep ourselves afloat while we do that. Also, where did that thing just go? Because is this it right here? No, that's a warehouse truck. That's a warehouse truck. Did it leave the warehouse, or did it leave this building yet? It should be going to the showroom. So it should be going here, and we don't have it delivered yet. Actually, we do, because this one's 99 and we have 100 on that one. Where did all the money just go? If we have 36 million income right there, did it just not tick over? Uh-oh. Hey, what just happened here? So that's cool and all. I guess you just needed to deliver one to the warehouse and then you beat the game, but I can't actually see these two things on the bottom of my screen. I can see Discord and Twitter, but I don't know how we continue. I don't want to end it there. I wanted to actually save up enough money to start buying out the computers and just like run the whole map by ourselves. So that's not cool. I didn't know that was going to happen. I thought I had my HUD set the right way to let me see what I'm doing, but I can't see these ones. I'm going to go ahead and gamble on the one being left to continue. I hope that's the right button, because I don't have a save or a quick save leading into that dinner plate getting sold, and I really don't want to sit here for a while longer to try and get back to where we just were. So what is this going to do? That's going to continue. Cool. I guessed right. Let's go ahead and clear our debt. And that's all of it gone. We have 4.9 left over. We can go ahead and shut this building down for right now, because we don't have the money to actually run that industry right now. That is very, very pricey at the moment. And I think for right now, that's actually going to go ahead and be it for today's episode. I'm going to go ahead and try and micromanage this whole thing. We're going to have to go ahead and change some of these buildings to operate less frequently, like the glass bottles and the glass. We don't need these running at 100%. We only need one bottle per factory, which we only need 2 bottles being produced. So in actuality, we can run one at 25% and maybe even get away with only having one of these factories running. Same thing with the glass thing. We probably don't need 2 of them right now. So I'm going to have to go through and kind of rearrange this whole thing, not move anything, just either shut off or delete buildings for right now, just to kind of conserve on cash, because this thing right here is costing a ton to run, and it's going to take a while to even start really turning a profit if we can even get this stuff up and running as efficiently as we can. But for right now, that's going to go ahead and be it for today's episode. So hope you guys enjoyed as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.